Yeah, I think so. I think, again, you never know until you play somebody, right? That's one of the challenges of college football is, we've had 38 practices against ourselves before between the UCF game and the Clemson game, right? And we haven't gotten a chance to go out there against anybody else. And so you think you know what it's going to look like, but you never really do. But certainly, amongst all that uncertainty, experience helps. Guys coming back help. Being in year two helps. Having coaches back on your staff helps. I think all of those things are certainly positives for our program. But at the end of the day, we still have to go out there next Monday night and play the game the way we're capable of. And that's ultimately what it's all going to come down to.
Speaking of health, how are you coming out of fall camp, heading into the season openers? Where's Justin Pickett at in his recovery
Yeah,
rehabilitation?
I think we're going to have Justin available. We should have everybody available with the exception of Eli, who we've already kind of discussed. Um, so we feel good about all that. To what degree availability, we're not 100% sure. I think there's still things to figure out here in the next few days. But everyone is back practicing. So Justin's back in practice now, and so it's just a little bit of a race against the clock to get him ready by the time we get out there.
You spoke.
From the start of preseason camp, you said that the big thing for you was moving past from how to do each drill to getting into the specifics and the details. Did the team meet your expectations and do a good enough job of getting through those practices, doing those drills correctly, and improving?
We'll find out Monday night. To our we create standards, and our job as coaches is to make them live up to the standard. And so we created the standard that we felt like was good enough, and we certainly met that more often than not. We talk about this a lot, but we've got a great culture. We've got great kids. They respond to messaging very well. They respond to challenges very well. So we laid all of that out there for them for sure. And so, I do think if you come out and watch us practice right now, we're operating and functioning at a much higher level than we did at this time last year. I don't think that's even debatable. Again, the challenge becomes, can you do that well enough over 60 minutes on field Monday night to have the success that you want to have? And there's still some work to do before we get there.
Following up on that, was there a specific position group in your mind that really exceeded all expectations throughout practices and camp?
I don't know about exceeded all expectations. And I think my expectations, kids will probably tell you my expectations are really high. And so exceeding them is probably very challenging this part of the season. But no, I think we've grown in a lot of areas. I think obviously it's been well documented that we have a little bit more depth in the secondary this year. And that's always a positive. And there's certainly more movable pieces back there that we feel good about playing and think can be effective. I think every other position on defense is a year better, which is a positive and good to see. Certainly having a quarterback who's got a year under his belt, I think he's functioning a lot better as an offensive player right now. And so, I don't know that anyone fully exceeded expectations, but I think we're progressing at a good rate.
Coach, you have a
Last week, obviously, the benefit of week 0 was we got to kind of see it play out a little bit in games last year, and I think it ultimately affected about 6 to 7 plays a game is kind of what it looked like last weekend. And I don't know how much that affects us. I think where we've talked about it as being a huge impact for us is just if you're behind or you're in those 2-score games in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game, where in the past those drives could be quick because the clock could stop on a first down. You could get a lot of plays in. I think that's where the impact of the rule change is going to be. I don't know that necessarily in the second quarter, the fact that after we get a first down and the clock's moving, that's going to have a huge impact on it. I think it's going to be that stretch of 5 to 7 minutes at the end of the half and at the end of the game where things are going to get on you, and the clock, I think, is going to speed down a lot quicker than we're used to, and that's probably the biggest area.
Are there pros and cons as far as watching everybody else play before you get on the field, or do you have to really concentrate on making the guys be high at the right time, ready for the game?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think obviously, I think our kids will be ready when they come out of the tunnel Monday night. It's you probably rather play earlier. I don't know that you really want to sit around all weekend and let all of college football unfold before you get your shot to go out there, but. It is what it is. That's the schedule, and we'll certainly be ready to play.
Coach, can you speak on just the mood of the team getting prepared for Monday national broadcast game? It's the mood and the temper of the scene right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're I don't know about the national broadcast part of it, but we're excited. We're excited to go out there and play somebody else. I think this group knows that a lot of people chose to come back to this program for this season, and I think they know that if they play the way they're capable of, they have a chance of doing something special this year. And I think that has permeated throughout our locker room all off season. I mean, it's been well documented, right? Whether it's Carter or Monk or Calhoun or Franklin or Graham Barton or, even Riley Leonard in this day and age that we're living in, right? There's a lot of kids that had opportunities to go either to the NFL or to other schools or whatever, and they all came back here together to do something. And so there's a purpose about our locker room right now and what we're trying to go out and accomplish. It's a big challenge. There's no doubt about it all the way through the season, 12 games deep. It's a big challenge what we're trying to get done. But I think we're just excited to kind of get out there and start it and kind of get the ball moving.
How does this being Tyler Santucci's first year as a defensive coordinator change how much involvement you have in the day-to-day of the defense compared to like Rob Smith?
Yeah, none, honestly. I think I probably have the same level of involvement right now as I did last year, and that's like I said this last year. Like last year, Rob ran it, and I was kind of there as a guide. This year, Tyler's running it, and I'm kind of there as a guide. I think obviously Tyler and I have worked together a lot, and there's a little bit more familiarity that he has with the way I think about things, just because he spent more time with me, and so maybe him and I have a little bit better connection in terms of talking through issues or strategies or where we want things to go moving forward, or maybe he sees things a little bit closer to the way I see things. And so there's that element of it that's probably a little bit different, but I still tried to be the head. I came into this thing with the mindset that I had to be the head coach, and I still feel like that's the role that I have to play.
Will he be in the booth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mike, do you have a handle on any freshmen that you know